And we're back. The bathroom breaks. Mine went fantastic. All by myself.
Yours was really slow. I was waiting for you for like 20 minutes.
Well, it went well for me, but yeah. But we're back. No time like the present. Back with my great. You hear that? Okay. Oh, I thought it was a plane. I'm like,
Yeah, look, I thought it was a train.
okay. I thought that there was a very big plane flying very low, but it is just a cart upstairs. That is very comforting. Yeah. That was intense.
Every time I hear something like that, I think it's a bomb, and I think everything's about to end, you know?
Yeah. No, it's in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a plane. It's the same thing. It's crazy. It's crazy how it's like I'm thinking like the first time you hear it, if you tell your mind that that's a plane, it sounds like
Yeah.
it, but now it doesn't.
Now
I'm
it just
like,
sounds like a cart.
but the first time I was so convinced, I'm like, this is a plane. This is definitely a plane.
Yeah.
It's a cart. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we're clear. Okay. Yeah, it kind of threw me off a little bit, but we are back. So, you're a Baltimore native, correct?
Yes.
Philly or Baltimore? I'm putting you on the spot. What do you like better?
Oh, Philly. I mean,
Really?
there's a reason I live in Philly now, you know?
What's the reason?
'Cause it's better in every way. Bigger, better music, way better food, more stuff to do.
Shots fired.
I mean, Baltimore has its
That's how I know you're
its-
really from here, just how you said it. I was
What?
like, yeah, like people who aren't from there, they say Baltimore.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah. People do
Baltimore.
say it.
But you said it perfect. I was like, yeah,
It
you're
has
definitely
its
from there.
it has it's very, you know, it's kitschy.
What's that mean?
It's I can't really describe it. It's
I'm not cool enough to understand, is what you're saying.
no, no.
It's cool.
No, actually, no. You're not cool enough.
That's what I thought, but I'm
Yeah.
not gonna take offense
You're
to
just
it.
not
But
cool
I'm
enough.
not in the know.
Yeah,
Or-
you're just not cool. No, I mean it's like it's I can describe it. I could describe it with words that okay, little trinkets
Hmm?
and it's little weird oddball people all around the town
Oh, okay.
and it's very cute and it's I don't know, it's kind of 50s-y in a way.
Hmm.
But not that I ever lived in the 50s, but
Never know.
it's a specific vibe. It's a specific I can't really put my finger on it, but Philly's just way more I feel like I can spread out more. Not everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each
Okay.
other there. Everybody knows, you know, everything about everyone's lives. It's just
That's too much. Too personal.
yeah, it got too personal, you know? I mean, obviously not everybody, but certain communities of people
I dig.
that I used to hang out in just knew everything about everyone.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that either.
Philly, nobody knows anything about me. Also, the pizza there sucks.
I don't think that Baltimore's not known for pizza though, right?
Yeah, I mean,
There's a hierarchy on the east coast of like pizza. Like New York, it's this kind of how they look at it, and I'm pretty sure they probably look down on like Philly pizza. And stuff.
really?
Yeah, because it's like it's like we have Brooklyn
Philly's the best. Philly has tomato pie.
tomato pie.
That's
is
what
good.
I'm all about. Tomato pie. And I know there's a good bakery for tomato pie around here.
Are you gonna plug them?
I don't know what they're called. It's
Okay.
some long last name, Italian name, but I
Right.
know they're good. You know, New York pizza, it's flappy, it's too thin. Tomato pie, that's That's one of the reasons why I moved here. Music.
Cheesesteaks. What are your thoughts on it? You like cheesesteaks?
I mean, okay. When I moved here, I was about to move into Passyunk, and
Shout out Passion.
I ended up moving into West Philly. But when I was about to move into Passyunk, everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're right by the rival sandwich shops." And I'm like, "What
Oh,
are the
yeah.
rival sandwich shops? What is that?"
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was so obsessed with the sandwich shops and like, "Oh, of course, like of course it's." I'm like, I'm just like so weirded out that they're so obsessed with this sandwich that they have rival sandwich shops, and then the Philly locals are like making fun of the rival sandwich shops, which makes it even funnier. They're like, "Oh, the real place to go is he." I'm like, "It is a sandwich." You know, Baltimore doesn't have a sandwich.
What do
Nobody
they have?
cares.
What do they have? What do they have?
They
there?
have chicken boxes. They got
Chicken
Royal
box.
Farms chicken. That's really what they have.
It
They
doesn't
have
sound like
some
you like it.
seafood, and they have
Seafood.
chicken boxes. That's really what people eat in Baltimore. People don't eat crabs.
They don't?
I mean, they do, but no. I mean, crabs are expensive. Crabs are like, I don't know. I haven't had a crab in a long time. People eat chicken, and they eat some kinds of seafood. Various types of seafood sometimes. I think it's mostly chicken.
I want to point something out for you. I don't know if you noticed. There is a thing where you're caught between the cats and the dogs in the territory. And now here you are in Philly. You're caught between two. You're always caught in some sort of territorial war.
I guess I am, yeah. I guess I am.
You're where the action is.
Totally, yeah.
Hence-
totally
Henceforth, why you
actions.
could impersonate a reporter. You're always where the action, right in the middle of the divide.
I would hope so. I would hope so. I want to do some kind of. I did some kind of journalism thing. I did a road trip this winter down to
Right.
New Orleans and all through the South, and I brought my camera and I interviewed all these people, and I just edited it like yesterday,
Nice.
and it wasn't really like I liked it, but it's really not my thing. Documentary stuff like journalism. I'm more of a narrative, fictional person.
Really?
I'd say so. Yeah, I mean, I find the real world really interesting, but I like making stuff super surreal, you know? Like I liked all the experiences that I've had, but I don't know. I'm just really into like surrealism, like weird stuff, you know?
I feel like your life though, it's like had some of the stuff that you experienced on camera. Like you talk about like front, like first person journalism. That's not a phrase. I just made that up. But just like I think they had this TV show or something where people are going around or experiencing things firsthand. Like I was attacked by dogs. I was in this island. Like all this stuff. You'd have your own TV show.
That would be cool, but you know, I didn't get it on camera.
That's what
Wish
I
I
mean.
had a camera
But if
back
you
then.
got that on camera, I mean,
I know.
yeah. Well, I feel like
mean-
if you get it on camera, it's the fact that nobody helped you. God
Yeah,
walked past it doesn't
exactly.
help you.
Exactly. But whatever, you know. What are they gonna do?
Ping pong.
Ping pong. Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. So, my dad is a competitive ping pong player. He's extremely into ping pong. He buys like $25 ping pong balls and stuff.
Wait, each ball
I'm not
costs
sure.
25?
I think it's maybe one or two.
So fun.
It's expensive.
That is expensive.
Yeah, like he's into it. He's got his kit with his paddles, and he replaces the rubber on top of the paddles, and he's like, "Oh, that paddle is made with cork. Like I don't want, or I do want that, or I don't know what it is." He won't even use like a normal ping pong paddle because it's not good enough for him.
The
But
feel.
anyways,
It
yeah.
feels off or something.
It's like it's got this like rubber thing it's not right for him. It's
Is
not
he
sticky.
is he ranked? Is he like a
He's
rank?
ranked.
He's
Yeah.
so what's his
He's
ranking?
ranked.
Do you
I
know his
don't
rank?
know. I
That's
don't
still
know off the
crazy
top
though.
of my head.
I'm butt in ping pong, so
He is ranked. He is
that's
competitive.
crazy.
And so what he does is he goes to the YMCA every morning on 9 in the morning, I think, and he trains people with Asian restaurants specifically
Why those?
because Asian restaurants have the cleanest grease out of all the restaurants. American restaurants like reuse their grease, and like that's why their food is more fatty. Like Asian restaurants have cleaner grease because they replace it. So
Hmm.
he trains people with Asian restaurants that work in them, that own them, etc. So in exchange for his training, the people in the restaurants give him their grease from the restaurants that they are throwing out instead of putting in a grease dumpster. And he puts them in these things called cubies and he brings them into his house and he puts it in a centrifuge which gets all the fat out. And then he pours it in barrels. And he has like our driveway looks like a junkyard. We have a makeshift gas station where this grease is coming out of these barrels, and I mean it's crazy because anybody could really just blow up the whole house based
Uh,
on the pure like the amount of grease that's in his yard right now. It's insane. But anyway, he takes the grease and he puts it into a second engine that he built in the trunk of his car and it runs off of the grease so he doesn't have to pay for gas.
it works.
And it works, yeah.
You should definitely get a patent
Oh, it's
on that.
it's a thing. I don't know if it's patented, but
I
people do
find
it.
something if you can get any way that you can get some way not have to pay for gas, you can run like that. That seems pretty significant. But let's take a step. So there it is again.
Ah,
I'm just glad I know what it is.
yeah.
I was kind of
I'm
worried
glad
the first
too.
time. But so is it like just general grease? Is it a specific type of grease that
Vegetable oil.
vegetable oil that works the best?
I mean, yeah, you could probably put other types of grease, but that's all he uses, like cooking grease, vegetable oil. Yeah. So whenever the car runs, it smells like whatever restaurant he got it from.
Oh,
So I would be like in the car, or I would be outside the car and I would hear it coming first, and then I would smell it coming. And I would smell like if it was egg rolls or if it was French fries,
I'm hungry.
whatever he got it from.
Right.
And it's this old, because I know it only works on diesel engines.
Oh, okay.
So
I
it's
was
an
gonna ask that.
old Mercedes 1982 diesel stick shift grease car. And he just takes the bodies from junkyards and he puts the engine in the new body whenever the old body like breaks down. And they break down all the time, like they break down all the time.
Cause the grease.
The grease, the age of the car,
Mhm.
just everything about it. I mean, it's not a very reliable vehicle. I remember every summer we would go down to North Carolina, 7 hour drive on that thing, and it's so slow too. Like
It doesn't go
you'll be
fast because of the grease.
because yeah, I guess because of the grease. It just I'll be flooring it, and it'll be going like 5 miles an hour.
That's it.
And when you're going up a hill, it's rough. It's rough. Like people will honk at you because it's so slow.
So how long did it take you? Like 4 days to get there?
Oh no. It took us 7 hours. It took us 7 hours because once you're on the highway, it's
Mhm.
good, but if you're stopping and going, it is rough. You know? But once you're on the highway, it's good, and I would always wake up at like 5 in the morning because we would leave in the middle of the night and we would be stopped on the side of the highway because you would have to change like the fuel filter or something. Every single time. It always broke down.
Hmm.
Always. And then the car began to get holes in the bottom. because
And it would
like
leak.
it was rusting out, and then when we would go drive in the rain, the water would shoot up through the holes, and I'm like, oh my god, you have to fix this. And I remember one time I had to take my cat back from College Park, and I couldn't put her in the car because I was afraid her little paws would get stuck in the holes.
In the car?
In the bottom of the car. Isn't that insane?
That is insane. But
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, seeing how you're from Baltimore, right? What's considered the South for you?
The South?
Because it's interesting to hear perspectives.
I would say anything from Southern Virginia on is like the real South.
DC,
the real...
DC? Is DC the South?
No, I
It's
wouldn't
not?
say so. I mean,
Really?
technically Maryland is the South, like, because it's below the Mason-Dixon line, but I would say the true American South is Southern Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and then all those other states west of that. But for the East Coast, I think it starts in Southern Virginia.
Because it's funny. Some people would say, if you ask some people, they're like, I heard maybe one time somebody was like, DC is kind of the South. But some people, no, it depends on.
DC is not Southern. It's the South, but it's not Southern.
It depends on who you ask, too. If you ask anybody from New York or Boston, anything, they look at kind of Philly as being the South. That's a different conversation.
Philly is not the South.
I dated a girl from New York one time, and she used to act anything like, there's some kind of people kind of who were born and raised in New York sometimes can be very dramatic. They're like, anything 20 minutes outside of the city is like the middle of nowhere. But yeah.
That's so weird.
No.
People from New York are pretentious.
What's your least favorite city? You've been around the world, and
I've been around. I mean, my least favorite. I know my
In the
favorite
US.
is New Orleans.
why New Orleans?
I love the people. I love the magic. I love that it's like its own little country inside the U.S. Like there's nowhere else like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like, all the East Coast cities are pretty similar. Atlanta, New York, Philly, they're all, they got the big skyscraper buildings. They got the same kind of stuff. They got aquarium. They got
New York has an aquarium?
I don't actually know.
I was
But
like,
Baltimore, Atlanta,
yeah, I know.
and Philly,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's just all kind of similar. All the people are kind of similar, but New Orleans is just completely different.
They got good food down there.
Completely different.
I'm very hungry, by the way. That's why I keep bringing it up.
Good
But yeah.
food, interesting people,
Good,
down
interesting?
to earth people. Yeah,
Nice.
good, interesting, down to earth people. They party, and the weird
They
thing
do
about it
party.
is that like there's no like place for the tourists or the rich tourists to go, because they built a downtown in New Orleans, but nobody goes. So the only place that the tourists go is like the real authentic parts of the city, like the very historic authentic parts. Whereas in like Atlanta, there's like the corporate area where people go and like take pictures in front of a sign that says Atlanta. New Orleans, it's all real,
Yeah.
which is interesting, but kind of sucks for the locals, I think. Not that I know much about it, but I mean, all the tourists are just all around the real parts of the city. But I love how bright it is. It is stinky, I will say. It is stinky.
Which one? New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Like, which one's worth, Philly or New Orleans?
Oh, New Orleans.
Really?
For stink?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New Orleans stinks, especially in the summer.
Well, it
But
is
because
hot.
it's so humid, it's so humid, it locks it in there. It locks
That's
it in the
nice.
air. But, and then it's also hotter there, so everything just smells more. But, I mean, yeah, it's brighter. The music, the jazz is awesome. There's just these great jazz musicians playing on the street. That's messing me up. Who's running up there?
No idea. They're supposed to be fucking close today.
Maybe it could be raccoons.
I know that sound. That is not a raccoon.
No.
But yeah, I mean, they got amazing musicians just playing in the streets. They got, I mean, the culture is just amazing. Everything's beautiful down there. I love it.
Could you teach me well, first of all, do you play ping pong at all yourself or no? Or you're kind of like, yeah.
My dad taught me a little. He has this thing in our house where it's just this thing that he sticks with a suction cup onto a plate, and it's this little thing with a ball on top, and he just goes up to when he goes on the ball, because this is the correct swing that you're supposed to have. You're supposed to go down from like all the way down there up to your eyebrow. But you can't hit your eyebrow
Right.
because it'll
But
hit your
like the
face.
thumb down, thumb like kind of
Uh,
facing this, or is that kind of dealer's choice?
Well, I would have to have an actual paddle to teach you how
Well,
to
you're
hold
in
it.
luck, cause
Really?
no, I don't.
Aw.
I don't have a paddle, but yeah, like this. I should though.
Kind of. Yes, kind of like that. Like you gotta get it at an angle, and then there's
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
there's all the serves that you have to do, and then you gotta learn the backhand, and there's this whole thing.
What's your best serve?
Oh, I mean just a straight up like normal serve. I can't do anything fancy. My dad can do this one where he hits it like on the side of the paddle, which is just crazy. It's like this crazy spin serve, and nobody can ever return it, so he just wins every time.
It's kind of like being at a bad store because they don't let you make returns. I thought that joke would land, but it really didn't.
Ah,
But
that's terrible.
yeah, it happens. It happens. So, have you ever eaten ants? It's okay. Take your time.
Does it look like I've eaten ants?
I don't. No.
Oh yeah, I've eaten tons
That was
of ants.
definitely a loaded question.
I've eaten tons of ants. Yeah,
Mhm.
like I've just eaten tons of ants. I've eaten some weird stuff.
Like what? And that's not that. Not I've never eaten an ant, but that's not that weird. Cause you can get boxes of crickets
Oh yeah.
and like so that's not
I've had
or
those.
like scorpion and like a lolly like so
Mhm.
that's not that. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten
That's a loaded question.
that you feel comfortable sharing?
I don't know. Well, since we're already on the topic of my dad, I'll get to the ants thing later.
Okay.
My dad is an extreme health nut, and he makes this thing called the black bean smoothie every day. For breakfast, he has the black bean smoothie, and then for dinner, he has oatmeal. And the recipe is written on his fridge. And the black bean smoothie is black beans, I think spinach, lettuce, cinnamon, tomato sauce, Indian gooseberries,
Never
one
heard of that.
Indian alma, which is this large, mysterious ball, green ball, and he just drops it in.
It's that word again, mysterious.
Yeah, it's very mysterious. And I think he put some other like berries, sweet stuff in there. I think he puts a banana in too. And every day he drinks that concoction. And he made me try it one time, and he was like, "It's good, it's good, it's good." It had a bean texture because of how many beans were in it.
How did it taste like? What did it? Can you describe what it
It
tastes
wasn't as bad as I thought.
like? Okay.
It was pretty bad. I mean, I wouldn't drink it, but it, because of the banana, it had a lot of like creaminess in it, which is nice, but it just tasted like beans. It tasted like beans. And I didn't know how to tell him, he thought it was so good. He was like, "It's like candy." It's not like candy.
It's not like
beans.
candy. It's like
black beans. Yeah, so that was weird. I've had other experiences with him where he would make me a salad, but he doesn't know how to cook, so he puts spinach in a bowl and he crumbles tortilla chips on top. And that's it. That's the salad. And then he has this other thing. One time he brought it out and he was like, "Guess what I got? Guess what I got? A nut milk sack." And I was like, "What is that?"
A what now?
He started milking nuts with this sack into his blender. He
Can
would
we take a
blend
step
up.
back? So wait, so where's it coming? So
Well,
where?
the nuts. It comes from the nuts. He blends up the nuts with water, and then he puts it in this nut milk sack.
Put this. You said he puts it in this sack, or
in a sack.
oh, okay, all right.
In
I'm
a-
like, okay,
in a nut milk sack, and he squeezes it out like a cow's udder, and he milks it, and then you get milk from it. And I think he did that once. He goes through phases. And then I remember this one time where he said, "Here's a burrito," and he gave it. It looked like a normal burrito. I was like, "Oh, you finally, you cooked this. Like you made this." And he's a terrible cook.
shots fired.
And he gave me this burrito. I was like, "Oh yeah, a burrito."
Mhm.
I bite into the burrito, and it's just a potato
Like
wrapped
an
in a
uncooked burrito,
a
potato.
cooked potato, but just a plain potato wrapped in a tortilla.
In his defense, though, what constitutes something as being a burrito and not being a burrito? In
That
his
is
defense,
true. I mean, usually with a burrito, you have more than one type of thing wrapped
That's
inside
a
of a
wrap.
tortilla.
That's not. Well, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back on what I said. That's technically just a wrap.
I
then,
would
right?
say you're right,
That's a wrap.
but it was terrible. I mean, it was a plain potato, no butter, no sauce, a plain potato, no salt even, wrapped in a tortilla.
Hmm.
I remember he went on this diet called the SOS diet. When he found out your brain was wired to crave salt, sugar, and fat, he went on the SOS diet, which is no sugar, no oil, and no salt. SOS.
You're gonna get like with I know from the sugar thing. If you don't eat sugar at all, you eat sugar and then you don't do it. I know the withdrawals and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
there's definitely withdrawals. But he would bring me to these vegan dinners at churches, and he brought me to the SOS dinner. And everything there was disgusting. Everything was disgusting, and I remember I went up and I was like, this casserole looks edible, right? So I took a piece of it and I put it on a plate and I started to eat it, right? And then I put my fork in it and I bring it up and it's this giant piece of hair. This giant strands of black hair. I think it was out of someone's weave, which is why it was so thick. And I was like, "Oh my god." And I left. I had to leave. But yeah, that was one of the worst things I've ever eaten. I mean, the casserole itself honestly wasn't bad. It was definitely one of the better dishes that you can make without salt, oil, and sugar. But the hair,
Yeah,
it ruined it.
I can imagine.
But speaking of hair, and this also
Flashbacks.
goes to the ant story. One of the ant stories, because I've eaten large amounts of ants multiple times.
How large are we talking? Like
I don't know.
like a whole like this much?
I don't know. I mean, not like a whole ant hill or anything, but I would say I'm an anteater. You know? The first time was with Cracker Jacks, but anyway.
With the stuff that comes in a bag?
Mhm.
I like those, but I don't think they
Mhm.
make them anymore.
They don't?
I don't. You can only get them at like base. Like I don't see
Huh.
it anywhere.
I got a box. Maybe I should keep it.
You should keep it. There, it's not. But yeah. Anyways.
But anyways, so one of the first times I came to Philly by myself, because my nana's from Philly, so I would be up here all the time, for holidays and stuff. But I came here with my friends about a few years ago, and we were really broke, and so we rented the cheapest Airbnb in Philadelphia.
Always a good idea.
And it was far up Broad Street. It was north Philly.
North.
It was north Philly, and I was like, this is fine. It's not too bad. We went in there, and there was a key. There was like a number lock on the door, and we put the number in, and there was a homeless guy living in there.
Mm.
In the Airbnb on the couch. And I was like, whatever.
What'd you say to him when you got in?
Oh,
Did
I
he
didn't say anything. I'm not the type to kick somebody out.
Did he say anything to you?
No.
No.
We had no conversation. But the renter, like the landlord, said there's nobody that's supposed to be in there. And so this guy got in to the Airbnb somehow and couldn't leave because he didn't know the numbers to get in. So he was just there. Like, he was just there until he moved to another spot, I guess. He was just on the couch. I was like, whatever. Anyways, I go into the shower. I take a shower. I'm really dirty. And there's these giant clumps of hair all over the walls and floor of the shower. I'm like, that's terrible, you know? But it's fine. It's fine. We hear this guy living on the couch having these insane coughing fits all night and just coughing up this terrible, all this mucus into the bathroom, which is like right next to the room that we're staying in. And he was just having coughing fits and watching these spaghetti western movies all night. So
what?
we were like, it's
Oh,
like a spaghetti western. It's like a cowboy movie, weird cowboy movies. That's what he was watching. He was watching spaghetti westerns.
Okay.
He was having coughing fits. I was like, I'm getting out of here. So we went down the street and we got a cheesesteak. And we brought it back. And I ate half of it. I couldn't finish it. And the thing is, the guy was sleeping right next to where the fridge was. Right? So instead of putting it in the fridge, I just left it on the table, in the room. And I woke up and there were all these different trails of ants leading to the cheesesteak, all crawling around the cheesesteak. And in the cheesesteak, they were all in that sandwich.
All up in there.
And I took it and I ate it.
How'd they taste? Did it add flavor to it?
It was good. It was
good.
a good cheesesteak. If it was like a really bad cheesesteak, I would have just thrown it away. I wouldn't have eaten it with the ants. But it was good. And the thing is, I was hiding it from my friends because I was embarrassed that I was eating it even though it had ants all over it. And they knew that it had ants all over it because there were trails all across the room leading to this cheesesteak. But then I confessed. And they were like, why would you do that? And I was like, I don't know. Next thing you know, I get into making hats. And I made this hat right here. It says, I eat live ants. And I chose to wear this today because I knew I was going to tell this ant story. But I got a lot of other different hats that mean other things.
I did not even, I was the ants, but I'm like.
Yeah. I mean, you don't notice. It looks like a really normal hat.
No, it ain't normal.
But.
And I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You might have different podcasts. Put the camera on me. You might have different podcast things and stuff like that. But you can't get this in any other place.
That's true.
Yeah. How are we doing on time?
We're getting closer.
Okay.
Like an hour and a half.
Okay, we're gonna I think we're gonna this has been awesome, but we're gonna start to wrap things up. But I want to say, man, this is you're fascinating. You got stories for days. You should write a book,
going.
write a book or something, or start your own thing. This is like a movie.
I'm glad.
Sure, no, and I don't have anything else witty or interesting to say, but and again, I'm going to reiterate, this is not my little black book. You'll never know what's inside there. And again, even if you try to read it, you probably can't. But that's my problem. So this is Brendan Taylor. It's my friend here, Julia Cooke, with an E, correct?
Cook with an E, yes.
And we're signing off. So you have a happy Saturday or whatever day you're watching this. It's not my problem.